Hello. Oh, Karla, you're here.
Hello, Ruben.
Well, the show's going to start off in a different way, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. Today we have a famous connoisseur and maker, founder of chocolate, Cru Chocolate, Karla McNeil. Um, so, how you doing, Karla? How's it going?
Good. Thank you for the invitation. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, and I'm excited about talking about all things chocolate, but also the spirituality of chocolate and some of these questions that we all have about the origins of chocolate and the vibrations and everything else. And like I said, we like to thank everybody for coming out from LinkedIn to YouTube to Twitter. Sorry, my chair's making funny noises, and that is my chair, by the way. Um, yeah, anyways, so welcome, and we like to ask you questions, ask Karla questions as we go along too. We're going to go play a song, then we'll be back with Karla. I forgot to take her off the stream to introduce her later on, but that's okay too. We'll be back in a second, Karla, and we'll come and, oops, sorry. If you have anything you want to tell us about too, we will get to you in a second too, but we'll be back. We'll play a song, and we'll come back with Call a Cocktail Hour.
Dicen que por las noches no más se le iba en puro llorar. Dicen que no comía, no más se le iba en puro tomar. Juran que el mismo cielo se estremecía al oír su llanto. Cómo sufría por ella, que hasta en su muerte la fue llamando. Ay, 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 ay. Cantaba, ay, 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 gemía. Ay, 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 ay. Cantaba de pasión mortal, moría. Que una paloma triste muy de mañana le va a cantar a la casita sola con sus puertitas de par en par. Juran que esa paloma no es otra cosa más que su alma, que todavía la espera a que regrese la desdichada. Paloma, cucurrucucú, no llores. Las piedras jamás. Paloma, ¿qué van a saber de amores?
And we are back to Cali Cocktail Hour. Thank you, Karla, for coming and sitting with us and talking to us about cacao. Right?
Mhm.
How are you doing today?
Doing good. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah,
Honor to be here.
I think it'll be fun. Like I said, we've known each other. How did we meet, anyways? At Casa Español, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were doing the chocolate in Casa del Español
Okay. Yeah. So,
for Mole Day.
well, that day, yeah. So, and
Mhm.
we had some mezcal, some chocolate, and that's it. That was all.
And for life.
For life, that's right. Por la vida. So, yeah, so like I said, we'd like to thank everybody out there for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour. I threw myself off a little bit, so I had to come back and play a song just so I can ground myself again. And before I go on, I would like to say a special goodbye to my friend Ahmad, who passed away this last week. And so we love you, and you'll always be in our heart. And anybody else out there who the show is about community and space and energy for everybody out there too. So feel free to ask us anything. It doesn't have to be related. It is related to a spirituality part. So looks what we have here. Andrea Lepore.
Andrea.
That's right. Welcome, Andrea. I don't know if I should spell that out, but yes. So, hello. How's that? So, Karla, we all know you from we're always around displaying your chocolate and showing your, and a lot of times, most times, I don't think I ever paid for your chocolate, which is a thing too. We probably should talk about that too.
Good, yeah.
But that just means that you're always generously giving out to the community and having people experience your chocolate too, right? So we all appreciate that too, because the chocolate you have is a lot different than a lot that we have typically tried here in different places too.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, how can I start? So I was born in Honduras, Central America, in a small, community, like a farming community. So I was mostly raised for my grandparents, and they both were farmers of cane sugar, fruits, coffee. So, and they had cows too. So I grew up in a very unique way, where we will move based on the seasons. So they will have different lands, and if it was summer, you will live here. If there was the harvest of the cane sugar, you will move here. So it was a little bit nomadic, which it was beautiful. But I grew up with a lot of abundance,
Yeah.
like mountains and mountains of oranges. you know.
So you move from place to place depending on the seasons, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, it depends
Wow.
on the harvest season. I mean, we'll go to school, but
Yeah.
yeah, my family, they all are farmers. So my mom was one of the first ones to go to school. My grandma didn't went to school. I'm the first ones to graduate college. So not too much has changed until myself within traditional farming lives in Central America.
Yeah. Well, that's
Mhm.
interesting that I didn't know that about you, which is kind of awesome too. But how did you deal with that when you were a kid with moving around, or was that just part of life in your parts?
Yeah, we were, very unique family in that sense that my grandmother had inherited a lot of land from my grandfather. So you just move around. I don't think a lot of kids, a lot of people in Honduras get to experience the life we had. Um,
Yeah.
and it was just mostly, based on harvesting. So she had fruits, so every season, and we'll go to school, but
Yeah.
the weekends, but after school in Central America was established February to October because of the coffee farming season. So on December, nobody has school because it's a farming,
Oh,
um,
okay.
because of the weather. So it's normal for those months for people to be, occupied in the harvesting. So
And no, that's great. So that means well, I'm gonna say that, but you're very attuned to nature and her seasons, right?
You get this attuned pretty easily.
Yeah. Okay.
So the
Well,
attunement is constantly.
well, there you go. Well, I'm eating your chocolate right now, so
Yeah.
I saved some for my friend who was going to be the co-host, but she
Mhm.
couldn't, so I got to eat her chocolate now too. It is it's really really good, and really delicious too. Um, let me see. I was going to ask you a question about all right. When you got here, when did you start making chocolate, or when did you think to create something out of chocolate yourself?
So I grew up seeing my grandma would make chocolate, but what we call chocolate in Central America is not what you're eating right now. It's a mix of corn, spices, and cacao. And you will roast that. You will roast the cacao, peel it, grind it, but it's combined with a lot of spices and mostly corn. So I grew up participating in the process. Peeling the cacao, going to buy it, and so to me that was like normal. So when I moved here, in 2005, yeah, just like any immigrant, I stick to what I know.
Yeah,
Walk once into a Starbucks and I thought like $4, that's like how much somebody in Honduras makes a day. There is no way I'm paying for that.
yeah,
So the process just took several changes in my life. Like I had my kids, and then I found myself looking for jobs as a single mother, figuring out how to raise my kids and looking for opportunities here, working as a industrial engineer. So I think a lot of the necessity pushes you into ways of like how you think, about what you're gonna do. And then chocolate was just always there. I always done it at home, but I thought everybody done it. So the first time, like I remember when I met Eddie and I did chocolate and just like ground the cacao, make the chocolate, and he was like blown away. And I was like, can't believe people don't know that, that chocolate came from a cacao.
yeah.
So,
Well, that's funny because I happen to have some what you gave me here, so I can eat it as I go. So, yeah, everybody out there, you need to try some. Try all
yeah.
kinds of stuff they have there, too, because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot different. Learning with it from you and learning from Eddie too about how the process is too. So, which is really cool because I get a taste, where different elements. So I don't think people get to do that very
Yeah.
often too. So, um, I was going to say, everybody out there, I said, welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. If you have any questions, please ask Karla or just type it in the chat, where we are dependent on you to as a community. So, oh, see, how you doing?
The ma-
Yeah, great voice, by the way, at singing at the consulate too.
Beautiful singing.
Yeah, so we need to do a little chocolate and mezcal event at your house too, and singing, of course. That's what we
Yes.
talked about too. But yeah, great voice. If you ever, I don't know where you sing, but it'd be nice to hear you do it again. So, and yeah, Carla was serving up the chocolate too that time too.
Mhm.
So, which I said, she's always everywhere.
And
Yeah,
everywhere you are.
I know. So yeah, so it is nice to see you too. Um, well, I wanted to ask you a question too. So, what's the difference between let's just say that you get them you get your cocoa beans from different areas, right?
Mhm.
In and where do you source them at then too?
So we mostly source from Central America because I'm from Honduras, and Central America is, pretty
Yeah,
small. I
yeah,
think California is bigger than Central America. And I'm specifically from 5 minutes from Nicaragua. So even though I'm from Honduras, I'm pretty close to Nicaragua. So my cacao connections are mostly in Nicaragua, when I grew up. That's the
yeah,
cacao that we consume because chocolate grows in like the rainforest and it's a certain level of humidity and it's like what people would call jungle. Um, and in Honduras, it grows mostly by the coast, which is the Ulua Valley, where a lot of the bananas grow, which is like about 8 hours from my house, which is pretty long away.
yeah,
But so we source from there as well. But my father was from there, so we have connections with that, and we source also from Guatemala. That were connections that we developed through UC Davis and sustainability programs that they have. The sourcing process. there is a lot of initiatives by governments to bring cacao into so farmers can diversify. It's a response to climate change as well. So it's not that hard to find people that are growing cacao and that you want to establish a relationship. Actually, there is farmers that are looking for that. There is more farmers than there is buyers. So
there's more farmers. Oh, that's right. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to introduce you to someone. Maria is here, and she says hi and guest. So
Hi.
you guys can have to get to know each other. She's an awesome person. You're both awesome people. So, Imago said pleasure, and Raquela is here.
Yeah.
And I know what you're gonna answer here.
Angas Nicaraguan his.
Yeah.
Así singing in the.
They would claim you, so you gotta watch out.
Singing in the embassy.
Yeah, there you go. So,
yeah.
So let's go. Let's play your video that you sent me too, because I think it has a little more. I like that. I watch a little bit, but I try not to watch it because I wanted to be, kind of with everybody else too. Any explanation about the video that we're about to see with you?
So this video is done in work with NGOs, so it's part of the NGOs that this is where your tax monies go to, in the terms of like helping farmers in Central America. So it has a little bit of like that, but it's a part of the work that we do in Guatemala specifically.
Right on. So we're going to do this video. In the meantime, I am eating chocolate. I'm also drinking chocolate. Oh, you can't see that. Oh, dang it. There it is right there. So I'm drinking chocolate too in my cup right here. So, and I also have some wine just in case of kind of chocolate and wine. But we would like to thank everybody out there because you are the guests, right? And I appreciate Karla because, I did a show the other day and I'm like, Karla, I'm going to invite you to a show an art show that I'm doing over at Classy Hippie Tea. We'll get into that soon. And she said, what do I need to do? I'm like, no, I want you to come to the show. And then she's like, no, I'm going to do something. I'm like, okay, bring your chocolate. So she made some great dates, chocolate dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is what I love about it is that, we're all supporting each other in this community too. And this is what, Cali Cocktail Hour is about, community and space. And we like to bring people together, beautiful people and beautiful beings. So we are going to go to a video right now and we'll be back. And please questions for Karla, please. We'll come right back.
Pues la verdad que el inicio de siembra de cacao se inició porque ya no tenemos área verde, digamos así, ¿va? Ya pues se unió las comunidades.
Por eso surgió, se solicitó el apoyo de la Fundación Propeten, a ver en qué nos apoyar. Pues gracias a Dios, Propeten luchó para buscar un proyecto de cacao.
Ya en el tiempo vamos a tener áreas de cacao y vamos a tener maderables así verde, lograr recuperar nuestro bosque, o digamos bosque, decimos bosque porque ya tenemos, como tenemos aquí, verde, ¿verdad?
Estamos contribuyendo a desarrollar toda la cadena productiva del cacao, desde los insumos, la producción, la post cosecha, la comercialización. Hemos llegado a un punto importantísimo donde las mujeres se han involucrado mucho dentro de todo el proceso del proyecto y ellas ya son capaces de poder transformar el cacao.
Tengo mi papá y tengo un hermano también que estudiaron sobre la agricultura, ¿verdad? Y entonces lo que me decía él, participa, anda a verlos, participa, aunque sea solo ayudar nada más a ver cómo hacen chocolate, ¿verdad?
Cuando iniciamos a hacer el chocolate, vino una señora a enseñarnos. Bueno, y de ahí nos gustó hacer el chocolate, de ahí empezamos. Y después Propetén contrató una señora a enseñarnos, a enseñar cómo hacer de diferentes sabores.
Saben muy bien de que una tacita de chocolate es rico, ¿verdad? Entonces probé esa tacita de chocolate, entonces me gustó, está rico, entonces ¿por qué no lo hacemos? Entonces empecé a asistir y así empecé yo a participar con las mujeres.
Nice. That was awesome. Beautiful people, beautiful land, beautiful vibrations.
Yeah, very beautiful. But I would like to know there that that people from there has been making chocolate for thousands of years. So when they say, "Oh, we started planting cacao," what they meaning is like cacao as a cultivation, but they being around cacao, for generations. And when they mean we started making chocolate, it's not like we went and just thought in the first time. It's like they done it for personal consumption for forever. So
yeah, how many? Yeah, for generations, right? Generations, right? It's in the blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's part of their cosmology and their culture and stuff.
Yeah, and then we have Serge from Chicago. ¿Cómo estás, Sergio? Another nice guy. Some beautiful people on this feed. Raquela, now I want some chocolate. I would have dropped some off for the show for you. Leo, let me in. LOL. Yeah, so so talk to us a little bit more about the video too. So is it a foundation that you work with, or like, I mean, how do you work with the people too down there?
So the story from Guatemala is they are close to the Mayan reserve. So if somebody has you hear about Cacao, right?
Yeah.
Cali is a beautiful is the Mayan reserve, is a big it's like about almost 30% of the territorial extension of Guatemala. So when you're creating a reserve, when you say it's like a national park here, so there is certain rules that apply. Like you no longer can hunt, you no longer can like grab wood. You can no longer live there. So a lot of the people that live around that area, those are called environmental buffer zones. So are people that were placed there or displaced into these areas, and they no longer can use the reserves to like make a living. So what happens is that the farmers and the people, and this happens a lot in Central America, they have very little land, where they had to chop the wood to make the fires, where chop the wood to grow the corn. So that's those areas are called buffer zones, and they are environmentally they're very susceptible. So when you see that people like are asking for like the forest to grow back, these are the projects that we're talking about, like planting cacao along with woods and like doing different relationship, because up to certain points in Central America, the main thing has been cattle. The easiest way for you to make a living will be like get some cows, or if you're a farmer, do your corn. And it's starting to catch up with the majority of the communities, because you cannot keep chopping wood forever, and especially when you don't have access to land.
Yeah.
You can buy the land, and it's next to a reserve that is protected, by the UNESCO. So these are the challenges that people face And that's where cacao comes in, because replanting the cacao and creating sustainable ways of, like, agriculture, like it changes the landscape.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have a scientific question for you from someone, and it's like in Twitter land. So a recent report showed heavy metal content in dark chocolates due to the soil cacao is grown in. What steps are Karla and her team making to reduce the cadmium in these chocolates? What fertilizer is used?
So a lot of the people that we work with, actually all the people that we work, they don't use fertilizers.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to, like, cadmium and chocolate is in the soil. So it's something that is very new, and people are starting to figure out how it's treated. Because it happens a lot, like with trees that there's trees that have been like breed, or hybrid trees that are more
Yeah.
fragile. So the roots are super, they go deep and they pull more of the minerals into the soil. That's one of the reasons that we work on Central America, because we're talking about varietals that are heirlooms or criollos. So they're more fragile. They're not, as big as a CCN 51, which is mostly in other parts of the world. We do test our cacao. All of our cacao is up to specs, especially the one in Guatemala has the lowest, has like almost zero amount compared with the other ones in the country. In Honduras, we work with the Institute FIA, which is like a research institute for cacao, and it's tested as well, and in Nicaragua as well. And what we're doing now is, like, we're sending our chocolate as well, because there was a report that was shown that a lot of, like, the dark chocolate and Trader Joe's and a whole, like, several brands had like high levels of cadmium and lead. Cadmium a lot comes from the soil. Lead comes from, like, the process. Like if you're farming the cacao, and it's a process that you ferment it and then you dry it, and a lot of people like dry it on the patios, and there is scars. Like there is no the same regulations are here when it comes to smoke. It can be also in the machines. There's a lot of machines like nickel, and all those metals are within the machines. So all our machines are like stone grinds. So,
Yeah.
but it's a subject that is just, we have seen cadmium tests of pristine forests, of like beautiful
Yeah.
areas in Honduras, and the cadmium are high. And then you test the cacao that is like literally next to the city, and the cadmiums are low. So what I think is very important about this is to understand that contamination is in the air. Like these metals are like flying around us.
Yeah.
They're in bread, like they're like a lot amounts of that. So how are we going to move forward as humans, because we are losing safe foods to eat?
Yeah.
And like
And
even our pristine forests and the reserves and like that, like in Peru, the Amazons, all that, those are the lungs. They are purifying, they're doing their job, that which is purifying the environment. So if we can no longer eat that, so it's I think it opens, like, I'm glad that people are aware of it,
yeah.
what's going on, but it's a
Well,
problem that right now all you can do is test and see.
yeah. Well, and it's good that I can't pronounce his handle, but on Twitch. But thank you for asking that question, because it is good to know that people are starting to actually look into that too, right? So and appreciate the question too, and the participation too. We have hola to all. Wish you keep watching. My phone is about to die. Hope you have a wonderful night, and I love chocolate. Delicioso.
Yeah.
Lila's another one of ours saying, look who's here. Hola, Leo. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, Leo.
Saludos. Where's Raúl? That's right. Ya sabe también. And Leo is another wonderful person, mixologist, mescalologist, great, all-around great person. So if you do have any questions, let's reset this to welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. We are with Karla McNeil, from the founder of Cru Chocolate. And real quick, because people are getting wanting to know where the chocolate's coming from. So where can we purchase the chocolate though? Where do you have it around? I know you have it at Classy Hippie, right? A little bit.
Yeah, Classy Hippie Tea is serving you can buy the mochas there, and you can find it on our website,
Yeah.
cruchocolate.com.
Yeah, and so you are based out of Roseville, right? The factory's going to be in Roseville.
Yeah.
See, look.
Yes, cruchocolate.com.
Yeah, see? And also, she's always around, so we can always, I have her number too. So
we're doing a lot of events, and we hope to have a place open on Roseville soon.
Yeah, come by and check it out too. And Leo, we have to talk about the mezcal part of it too. So, and before we go on, question to you, and we'll put it up there for everybody. What makes chocolate so special?
What makes chocolate so special is it's just one of those foods, like chocolate is the only word that is saying the same in every language in the world. Wherever you go, you can say chocolate, chocolate, chocola, however, it maintains that root. It's the only word. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
every language.
That means I'm going to be good. Yeah, because usually I mess up words, so perfect. Yeah.
But in a little bit more about chocolate. Chocolate is native from it comes, it first appear based on scientific research. It appear in the Amazons. So that's where chocolate is native. Cacao, the tree, is native from. But it made it to Central America, and it is in Mesoamerica, meaning south of Mexico and Central America, where cacao becomes chocolate. Because one thing is cacao, that tree, that plant.
Yeah.
Another thing is chocolate. It's like saying corn and a tortilla, right?
Yeah.
So chocolate is the result of a process. Like the word chocolate on itself, it means bitter water. So it was a drink that was it's like, for example, you associate sodas. You say Coca-Cola. Well, sometimes people say Coca-Cola for everything, right? Because we think of Coca-Cola as the main soda. Like the brand takes over of the category. So it's the same thing that happened with chocolate. Chocolate was a cacao recipe. So there is many cacao drinks, but chocolate had so much high content of cacao that's what it becomes so special. And when the Europeans come to Mesoamerica, they see, and that's what it's called. So it's like people talking pants and saying, "Send me my Levi's," So
yeah.
But I think what makes it so special is that it's one of the only foods that I know that can affect your mind and can also be super nourishing. It can be very nourishing, but it can also give you those effects. Like it has that level of calorie. It has a fat composition that your body responds really well. Like you can have coffee, you can have tea, but you don't have the nutritional value of it. And you can have an almond or a cashew, but you don't have, that feeling that chocolate gives you.
Yeah.
So, and chocolate is combined by theobromide, and it has a certain amount of caffeine. It has several alkaloids that has been proven that affects your mood. It releases, serotonin in your brain. I think it's just how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
That makes it so special. That we'll have to say, from a Western perspective, it's like the chemical composition of chocolate is meant to make you feel good.
Yeah. See, the Chinese part is chocolate, right?
Chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Raquel, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Same here. See, so we have it. So I have a serious question. I hope you're not offended by this question because it's not meant to be offensive in any way.
Yeah.
But I do have to ask it because, what's your favorite chocolate movie?
Chocolate movie. I really like Johnny Depp.
Chocolate. Okay, good. I like that one too. So that
I'm a big Johnny Depp fan, but I don't know now if you can admit that publicly.
Yeah, but that's my most offensive question of the day. So
okay.
Yes. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. That's great. Because it does make me feel good, and I do like it. And I do. I may be a little bit wired and super happy today because I have a whole bunch of stuff that you've given me, which I have here is inside here. It is a chocolate and mushroom, right? Drink that I put in my coffee every morning now. So that is made by Cru Chocolate. And I also have this, if you want to explain this one to them, right?
Those are spices.
Yeah.
So that's part of what we do, where we're starting to do with the farms, which is diversification. So not just sourcing cacao, but motivating people to grow their spices as well, because they regenerate the soil, they provide, shade,
And this is a turmeric, right?
there is turmeric. Yeah,
Yeah.
turmeric is a root. So
see, look, yeah, see, and yesterday, right? Andrea says something about B Corp status. I have no idea what that was. I was a little bit confused. All I cared about was the chocolate, so I didn't listen. So what is that, by the way?
So yeah, the B Corp is a certification. The business can apply to it. And it was born with the desire for companies to do well, for companies to be set up to in the interests of the community and the environment. One of the main leaders or founder is the founder of Patagonia. So it's a set of ways. It's kind of like to me, it's like a lens of how you see your business. So when we're making decisions, we're just not looking at profits, just looking at how is this, is there diversity in the companies you're dealing with, evaluating your suppliers based on are they woman owned, things like that. You also keep track of all your environmental impact, like how much electricity I'm using, what's my waste, So it's just for me, it's a management system. It helps me manage your company in a way that is more sustainable. And it connects you with a whole bunch of companies that have the same values than you. So it becomes like a family, of companies where you're starting to speak the language. Yeah.
That's
and
great.
it has a logo. It has a little B. So when you're in the grocery store, look for the B Corp. I think Clover is a B Corp. Patagonia is a B Corp. There's several. Yeah. Cru is a B Corp. Yeah.
There you go. See? We have a question about this, and you might want to talk to them a little bit more about my little. They gave me a whole bunch, so that's good. It's the chocolate and mushrooms. That's what she wants to know about.
Yeah, the chocolate emulsion. So those are medicinal emulsions. Emulsions and chocolate has been combined, for thousands of years as well.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is because Mesoamerica, meaning southern Mexico, right, in Central America, we don't have hallucinogens, like we don't have ayahuasca, we don't have peyote, it's a forest. That's another reason what I think that makes chocolate so special, because it's a plant that you can combine with other plants, with many spices. And people, were mixing motions, thousands of years ago. The only recipes that actually survive our chocolate recipes are like some recipes that Aztecs were using with motions. So, but we're not adding those type of motions. We are adding reishi, shaga, which are motions are more like from Chinese medicine. I find that they're very good for your immune system. There is more research that you can do on your own. But we use lion's mane, chaga, reishi, and we combine it with the spices. And
yeah, it's really good. I like the fact that I feel a little more focused too when I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not supposed to have too much, but I like to put a lot in it sometimes. So
yeah,
it's nice. So Marie, I would suggest it. And where can you get that at?
CruChocolate.com, but we don't have labels. I'm running out of labels.
The secret stuff right here. Call me. I'll get you a little bit of this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's good. And then you do have chocolate at the new chocolate place over here in Midtown, right, too?
Yeah, there is we had the bars there and the drinking wheels.
Yeah, and what's that called again? The drinking wheels are these ones right here. So yeah. Let's see. I'll be the chocolate mushroom salesperson. What do you call it? The stasher.
The rep.
So the stuff. I'll be on my corner on 31st and 32nd in Broadway. So working it with that stuff. So that's cool. Well, let me ask you another question, like we talked about earlier about the spirituality part about chocolate, because I think that's where we get down to kind of the rituals and not rituals, but the indigenous part of it, I would say, about it. But we wanted to talk a little bit about the ceremony, right?
What's a cacao ceremony?
Yeah.
Well, I want to come back a little bit about what makes chocolate so special, so I
Okay,
kind of
let's
give
go back here.
I get a Western definition, but from our perspective, if you were to ask anciano, a elder, in South America, what makes chocolate so special, and you were to review like ancient books on mythology, what you come to it is that it is a food that is in the stories. It has to do a lot to do with periods of transitions. So as the woman is about to have a baby, that woman consumes chocolate. As somebody is about to die, the person will consume chocolate as
Yeah.
to have strength in the other world. When somebody's marrying, in rituals of passages, when that's why when you consume chocolate. And so to me that is like periods of transitions, right? When humans were, I think we can admit here, at least in my cosmology, there is more in the world than what we see. There is different ways of experiencing the world. So and there is the other realms, right? Like in the Mayan cosmology, it's called the inframundo, or the underworld. So as you
Yeah.
move into those, which to some people it can be maybe some states of mind, or it can be like just when you're having a hard time, right? Like when you're going through hell, like they say.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to, like, you don't have to go through another reality to experience it. So that's what makes it so special, because it's meant in those traditions to get you through those moments. So coming back to what the chocolate cacao ceremony, it's more like as people are doing it now, which is people get together and they do yoga or they do music or something. It's a Western way of doing rituals with cacao, right? Or coming together around chocolate. I think it has Central American indigenous roots, right? Obviously, because there is the chocolate.
Yeah.
Many people will say, well, we learned from somebody in Guatemala or here and there. But at least in what I have been taught to by the people that we work with and our partners and our friends that live this culture, especially the Mayan Quechua people in El Petén, there is not such a thing as a cacao ceremony, because the ceremonies, because it's a cosmology where it's not about you, it's not about the person. So if your son is sick or something, it's not about you coming and praying so your kid get healed. It's more about like praying for the conditions to allow the healing, right? To like
Yeah.
to for your nahuales or the animal or your spirits to be strengthened and to bring healing into you. So when you say cacao ceremony in this, let's say down there, right, in Central America, it would be something like very remote, because it's not about the cacao, but the cacao is present. So there's not a specific
It's part of
ceremony
the
of cacao, but
part of the ceremony.
and the
Right?
ceremony be
Yeah.
seen from there is done to specific times, a specific territory. So in the mind of in their interpretations, they couldn't do a cacao ceremony here because cacao doesn't, a cacao ceremony here because it doesn't grow here. Like it's kind of like you mind it, the gods are proper, had certain territory, and
Yeah.
rituals and ceremonies are meant to be done in that territory. However, as we move here and we become part of the big melting pot and the United States, like we can't deny that coming together and as people as we're doing it right now and sharing chocolate together, can create, can wake up the desire to have a connection with each other, wake
Yeah.
up our spirituality or create culture and community. So for it's sometimes answers to questions, it has to be where you are. So if you ask me here, a cacao ceremony will be there, but if we're in Central America, a cacao ceremony, it wouldn't exist. It will be ceremonies based for harvesting or of plants.
I know. Yeah. So everybody out there, like I said, it is different, right? Different
Mhm.
regions too. When you come up here, too. Let me get this right here. We have a special guest wanted to talk to you and say hi to you. So we're gonna bring him on right now. Hey, Leo, what's up?
Hi, Leo.
What's good, man? Karla.
We were just talking about you.
I don't
And
feel like you can hear me. Because no
Yeah, I
one's
can hear
waving.
you a little bit.
We can hear you.
Oh, well, why don't y'all say hi? No,
Yeah.
man. Hello. ¿Cómo te va?
Bien, Leo, ¿y vos?
Oh, see, look, people are like already. Hey, Leo, what's up?
Hey, Leo, now what's a tea ceremony, Leo?
I can't see. There you go. I had to switch it.
There you go.
Oh, Maria's here.
Yeah.
Karla, I didn't hear your question. Would you say, love, about a tea ceremony?
Yeah, now you have to explain us what's your definition of a tea ceremony.
Yeah, you weren't meant for that right now, right? You weren't ready for that, so
You threw me straight in, huh, Karla?
you have to turn. You are hard to hear. You're gonna need to turn up a little bit.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear you.
Yeah. Can you turn it up or?
Because I was just partying in the background.
I know. I could tell. It's not, oh, look at that beautiful artwork in the back. Must be a beautiful art show going on. See, a different kind of ceremony.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Ceremony, right?
Yeah.
It's all.
Yes.
Nice. Horses and gaves and everything.
I enjoyed you guys' conversation. Karla, I continue to learn more and more from you.
Oh, we're learning together.
Yeah.
That's it. We're working on what's better than 1 billionaire.
What?
The saying is, what's better than 1 billionaire? 2.
2 billion.
3. What are you talking about? There's 3 people on the stage right here.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'm down for it.
Yeah. So what's going on with you? Besides,
I am doing finances.
see.
And we are doing some AI work tonight.
Nice.
And we are
Oh,
having
4.
espresso. And it's going to be a long, short night. Getting ready for Friday.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, and Leo, real quick before, let me see. I wanted to show your what's going on with you with these Thursday nights.
That is the funk. So every Thursday night at 3200 Broadway, or better known as Classy Hippie, we do have live music, and these jam sessions have been like changing the vibe of the city. Next week, next Thursday, we will have Straight Out Scribes coming in. And the last Thursday of the week, we have a group called the Big Kids. Funky.
Right on.
Tested.
Well, we want to see it too. And then we have lo-fi nights too. When is that?
Lo-fi. So what I wanted to create, right, is like there's Netflix and chill. But imagine if you were chilling with a bunch of your friends, you were able to be in your own element, to be safe, to be comfortable. There's bowls of cereal. We're playing video games from like the mid-90s, like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or Contra. We have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, Fruit Loops, Tricks, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, all these types of things. And of course, we have bagels and pastries if you would like that. But it's really just a kickback where adults get to be kids again and eat breakfast for dinner.
Oh, there you go. See, Karla?
Nice.
See, Maria loves it. She's going to come next time. So, we'll get there.
Well,
We'll be there.
Her hot chocolate. I hope she does.
Yeah. So you're selling the Karla's hot chocolate there too, or right?
Yeah,
Or how you change me.
She brought a pound in last week, and it just works, man.
See, it still happens at her house too, by the way. Yeah. So we are here. Thank you for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour too. We'll be here every other Thursday, doing some community work and expanding out and radiating out our vibrations to bring people together. So this is a community of vibrations and love and everything you need right here. Big hugs for everybody too. I have a question for Karla, because we talked about the spirituality of why is chocolate called food of the gods?
Why chocolate called food of the gods?
Yeah.
Well, it was named like that because the scientific name of the cacao tree is Theobroma cacao. It was named like that by a botanist, a European botanist, that realized that that he thought in his interpretations that cacao was the where people were offering food of to the gods, because cacao is always in the outdoors, is always an offering that you bring to the mountains. Is the it has that connotation, but I would say that cacao is the god. Is what you can bring into your soul, into your body, and experience, heaven. But that's what it's called. It was a European guy that I think misinterpreted what was going on, thinking that there was a differentiation between the gods and people, because
Yeah.
that's one of the main things that I think
Um,
indigenous culture gets, and it's like, as humans, we can be in both realms. Like, your body can experience those other realities that you might call God, or you might call other things. But and that there was not a difference between humans and trees. For imagine a world where you see a tree, and you have reverence, and there is no difference to you. There is a level of respect, right? Where that tree is the God. It's not
Yeah.
a tree, it's the food of the God.
Which is
I
interesting.
think the true
Oh.
reason
Mhm.
that chocolate is for the gods is because God is a woman. And everyone knows that women love chocolate. It's easy, Karla. God's a woman.
Okay, that whole concept of like every woman loves chocolate, I think is a sexualization that has happened with marketing and chocolate. Because it's not a
Oh,
Yeah.
chocolate, it's not a chocolate makes woman like, oh my God, I can't resist it. Now I have to go out on a date with this guy that brought me chocolate. It's
well,
quite
hold
the
on. We're
opposite.
talking about the chocolate bar or the chocolate brother?
It's more like the empowerment that chocolate can bring to a woman.
See, so let me go back to the tree thing too, because when I do a lot of my artwork, I always take pictures of trees, right? I mean, that's what I feel kinship with, right? Especially trees that are singly growing on top of like hills or something like that, because I feel like their knowledge of what's going on and what is happening during time is something that I can emote to, right? And also just like taking the vibrations of those trees and looking at different spiritual elements of it, right? So and so I think that's interesting for me. Oh, hold on, we have hola, Yaya's in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought Yaya was coming on, but we'll see. Um, but I do find that interesting. I really do. That's a cool thing about learning about chocolate, is because there's so many different elements and so many different things that we can go over. Before we go, I do want to do. I mean, we have a little bit, but I do want to. I don't usually do this about myself, but I do want to show something.
We're here for you, Ruben.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say, oh, because this is another element that is. But my wine label came out, so
Oh.
yeah, and it's really cool
Wait, you were
because when I
drinking
did,
wine and lost your glasses in Napa.
no, that was part of the whole thing.
What are we looking at?
What's that? We're looking at the aftermath of the wine. But the thing about, we talk about the spirituality, and what I did with this one is, we talk about, like, I took the photograph in Napa or Sonoma, but I also take the energy of the plant itself. And the wine grower or the winemaker is from Mexico, so he has a different take on how he makes his wines. And when he asked me to do this piece, he wanted he usually does the workers that are working the fields, and they're actually working, that he has on it. So my job was to do the spirit of those who have came, and the guardians of the land, so to speak. And so that's why I created this piece, and it's opaque to show the vibrations and the spirits of in California too, because it is native land too. So that was my part too, in that. And then we talk about, like, spirituality and vibrations, and it's every plant that's around here has its own, its own frequency, so to speak. Yeah. So anyway, so that to me, it just resonated with me about the trees because I love, those trees. So, we have a party crasher too.
Saludos.
I'll
Hi,
wave
yeah.
to you, yeah. They didn't wave to
Hello.
me. I'm a warm welcome you.
He broke in too. Everybody broke in. What's going on?
Sorry, I'm late to the party, chocolates.
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. We're having a great discussion with Karla about chocolate, and Karla's very community oriented and people oriented. So, and I appreciate her coming out to the show that we had and bringing her chocolate and her chocolate dates, and people loved it too.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Even
So,
the next day.
yeah, exactly right. So, but before I wanted to go through some of these pictures that Karla showed me because I want to. If you guys have any questions for her, please, feel free to ask too. I'm going to go through a couple of them for you right here. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, this is a very interesting picture. We are here in the right, where you see that two people, getting we were harvesting allspice leaves for a ceremony, for a ritual. And I thought like was very interesting, like how we're losing land, how we're losing, the forest, and because if you see on the back, right, all the land that you see cattle, and I mean, when you drive by, it's like stunning. It's just, but it's not natural because that is the rainforest right there.
Oh yeah.
And so when you realize like the natural state, that I don't want to use how it should be, but how it was, you realize like, wow, we are in, we had, people and cultures and languages and everything is in peril because we're looking here at a ceremony that, it took us a long time to go find the tree. And if you see, that's the last tree,
Yeah.
in that area. And it's so hard. It took us like 40 minutes to get those leaves. We had to go get a kid and climb the tree. So I think it's one of those pictures where things might look good, but if we don't know the background, we don't know where it's coming from, that context.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other picture is also the same. Sometimes people romanticize and say chocolate, that is made with wood is the best, in traditional made. But we are making chocolates in areas that used to be rainforest where there is no tree left. So what is next? And also one of the biggest highest cancers that Central America women get is lung cancer because of so much wood fire in cooking. So I just wanted to post those pictures. I sent you those pictures there, so we know that that climate change that we are facing is a big threat, and it's something that we should all be concerned about it because it affects our spirituality. There is no ritual, there is no ceremony that you're gonna do without a tree, because the ritual, the ceremony, everything that we're gonna do, it has to be based on the territory. And at the same time, it's like, how do we connect with the territory where we live here, right? Where we are now, because we can go to other parts of the world, and I mean, we are here now, and I in my nostalgia for my country and from my land, you want to bring that, but you know why? What about the cedars and the oak, the oak trees, and and the coyotes, and like, what is my relationship to that? So I feel like with chocolate, we hear about people doing cacao ceremonies and this, and that's great, but we must connect with the territory that we have here, because ceremony, ritual, and spirituality is linked with the territory. And we don't need to be looking someplace else. Like, let's just look where we are, right? And if your heart is, with chocolate and the people of Central America or the people that grow it, like, that's great. Do it, but those people are here now. Like, there is like 200,000 Hondurans here, thousands of Guatemalans here, and those are the ones farming the cacao, and those are the people that we look at the street and you don't even say hi. They're in Home Depot waiting for work, or they're like making your meals. So
Yeah.
so don't look so far for spirituality or for things. You don't have to go to Tulum. When you have respect for our cultures and for our way of being, you don't have to go to Tulum. When you have respect for our cultures and for our way of being, you don't have to go to Tulum. When you have respect for our cultures and for our way of being, you don't have to go to Tulum. When you have respect for our cultures and for our way of being, you don't have to go to Tulum. When you have respect for our cultures and for our way of being, is right there in your backyard, mowing your lawn. So let's look here. Like we all are here, and like what are we gonna do, right? So talk to the neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. See. No. And let's go to this one right here because we're talking about.
I love those ones because I speak more about like pre-Hispanic times. Those are ancient ceramics that are another testament of the connections that chocolate brought. Because when chocolate was like money, or in the Mayan civilizations in Central America were like flourishing, it gave space to so much art, and one of them is ceramics. Like ceramics became a way of status, like that cup that you use and which artisan made your cup say so much about you. And I think that's the beautiful of chocolate, right? Like it connects people, like, and that's what we can be so radical, like, only chocolate for drinks, because you see chocolate, oh my God, you had chocolate kombucha, you had chocolate croissants, chocolate cakes, chocolate with cannabis, chocolate with everything, because it is the energy. That's what chocolate brings. It is the diversity. When you plant a cacao tree, all the animals comes, the snakes, the squirrels, and it just brings that richness. So in that time, he brought that, and he brought it with ceramic. He brought it with people making clothes. Everything became about that. So it's an energy that we can invite within ourselves, right? Like where cacao or chocolate comes, if you make a chocolate drink and you serve it with your friends, with your family, you're inviting. That's the energy you're bringing, like abundance, flourishing, chocolate is chocolate that, so I think chocolate represents our culture so well because it's so inclusive and so diverse at the same time.
Any questions for the panel? Leo, you put some chocolate in your smoke right there, buddy. I got some right here, dude. I got some. I got some chocolate and mushrooms. You can put it in there. Smoke it up.
You gotta make a chocolate tea, Leo.
Yeah.
I'm having ceremony.
There you go, say. There you go. Right on. Yeah. Do you have anything coming up anything exciting coming up too?
Oh, yeah, there's this fantastic show at Classy Hippie right now.
Oh my gosh, hold on.
Leo, have you showed that flyer yet?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
See what I got today? Yeah, someone sent me this over the mail.
Oh, sweet.
That's right. It's a cane.
Oh, what?
A crow cane. I'm like,
watch out. I'm gonna.
There you go. So watch out for me when I'm working my corner on 32 on Broadway. So watch out.
Yes.
3200. That's my corner now. So I don't know.
Lunar
yeah,
love
you know what I mean. Oh, hold on. Here you go. Here you go.
Yes. Lunar love language, bringing goodness through Ruben and Jesse, both based out of Sacramento, but doing their thing worldwide via the internet, via exhibitions. You have an exhibit right now in Las Vegas. Did you talk about that earlier?
Oh, sorry. No. This isn't about me, but yes, I do. And
yes.
Awesome. Yeah.
Ruben exhibiting in Las Vegas right now. And we're cooking up some new works coming up in San Francisco soon enough. Just wrapped up the Two-Spirit Bay Area American Indian Two-Spirit Powwow, 12th annual. So that was incredible. I'm honored to photograph. So look out for some of those photographs soon come. Just
we got Leo on the run here.
Taking a good deep breath.
Right on. We have one more, Karla. But show us what is that? Making me more.
That's our chocolate being made, and those are like traditional ways of eating chocolate. Central America still form. So that kind of like a tablet is like a food preservation. Making a tablet of chocolate is a way of preserving food that was very traditional to Mesoamerica, and it was with chocolate. So don't get angry. I used to get angry when my mom uses bouillon, those little cubes, bouillon cubes.
Yeah.
or achote, they use it for everything. It's a traditional way to preserve food and a little recado and use it and that's something that we still do with our little drinking chocolate wheels. They preserve the spices really well. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it instead of the powder, because it doesn't oxidize in the inside. So
awesome. Can I say something real quick too?
Mhm.
It might be the almost 3/4 a bottle of wine that I've consumed during this time, and all the chocolate. But I love you, I love you, and I love you, and I love everybody out there. And when Call It Cocktail first started, it was midnight right at the pandemic, and I reached out on Facebook and said, "Is anybody scared? Do you want to talk? Is anybody what?" Because at that time everything was dark, right? And so people started emoting. I mean, it was really, really some really dark stuff, but it was cool because I was really meant that I wanted to talk to people, because I don't think anybody knew what was going on at that point too. Yeah. And and it became, it morphed into different parts, but it's always been about community and reaching out. And and if you're here just to say, that we love you and you want to hear that, we love you, and te amo. That's what we're here for, right? Because we're here to, and you guys are beautiful people, beautiful vibrational beings. Someone put badass vibrational being on my thing right now, but I'm gonna take it. So I'm gonna accept that title. But for for real, we had a big community, and we're gonna bring it back. See, and Maria remembers too, and it is about community and a different wise too. It was a really good space, and it still is. So I'm bringing it back because a lot of people still need it. We'll always will need it. We are heading into a different futuristic part of life too. That this is, we communicate with different people from different parts of the world too. So that in general too is like that. Like, I don't even know who was on Twitch, but they came up and asked a question, and so that was awesome too. So we are broadcasting to seven different. Is that right? 7, yeah, different spots right now. It's YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, 3 Facebook pages, and soon it will be Instagram when they open up the portal. So, and and the thing we talk about is vibrations, right?
Hi, Maria Cristina.
Yes, you send us mucho amor. And Chris was always true. Chris, you need to come up and help me out too. Be a co-host too. Chris Macias is awesome writer too, and great person too. So
yes, indeed.
Lives are busy. Yeah, we keep up people. And
I want to thank you, Ruben, for your tenderness and your constant checking in and checking in, but uplifting of all of us, going through our own individual challenges, whether it be health wise, mental health wise, physical health wise, you name it. Just thank you for being so consistent. Today I found about 8 messages from you. Like I
are you sure you're okay?
I felt so horrible because I think sometimes intuitively I feel you calling, so I call you back without even knowing you've already dropped a message for me. So thank you for those messages. And thank you, Leo. Also, Karla, those dates were amazing. They felt like one ceremony, then another ceremony. I think I had 3 in total. But I felt like they gave me good karma for, a few days, or they were so charged, and I could tell the love that they came with from you. And having you present there at our opening was just really phenomenal to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you for your art, that is there to heal. It's medicine for all of us.
Ashe.
So one question too, Leo's gonna go down, but Chris says I'm down like there's a clown. Host anytime. Leo's gonna leave. So everybody say goodbye. Leo, do you have anything going on this weekend before you go at the cafe? Besides me showing up and making your day.
Friday night.
Yeah.
We have Friday night. We will be rocking for Lo-Fi Friday, 7 to 10. Saturday will be chill. We're going to breathe. We'll be easy. And on Sunday, you can come watch the game with us. We may even have some pupusas.
So if I come tomorrow night, what am I going to expect?
You're going to expect to sit back, chill, play video games, color in books, have some cereal, and breathe easy.
Right on. And I want to give a quick shout out to Rico too, out there too, because he helped me. We traded some content stuff, but I don't know if we put it out. But yes, so but another great being out there and if anybody you want to do some creative stuff, come to Classy Hippie Tea because I'll be out there all the time. So yeah. All right, Leo, I'll see you tomorrow for sure.
All right, guys. Be cool.
We'll talk. Oh, and Piog too. So watch out for her. Yeah.
All right.
All right, Leo. See ya.
Bye, Leo.
Okay. Thank God he left. I don't know how he got on here. No.
You're funny.
No. So let's go back into the spiritual element of the of cacao, right? Because we all know that like if it comes down to it, like the ancestral part of it, right, where it came from. I love the fact that you said that you moved from different parts of when different harvests that I always thought that was more like really back in the day, for here in America, right? Indigenous style, right? You don't go somewhere where you're supposed to, right? But I think that's cool that you did that when you're a kid. I mean, that's a pretty incredible journey too, as a child, to go through that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's interesting because we never had a living room,
Yeah.
And you just show up and put wood and put something and sleep, and if the coffee harvest season was good, they'll just move the beds out, and then you put the coffee inside so it doesn't get wet. So that night you sleep on the coffee. So I thought like, there were only like 3 spoons, so you wait your turn. It's just like a caravan.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, like, we have had the chocolate here in our house for 7 years. Now we thought it was just gonna be 1 year, and it's 7 years. So the kids grew up. The kids were little when this started. That's a big chunk of their childhood.
Yeah.
And you been to our living room, it's just boxes everywhere, and like,
yeah. I ate my way through the living room.
Yeah, clean up and bring the chocolate. So it's been this kind of like being in a cart. But I think that when the main thing that I think that I was blessed with it is just the sense of abundance. Like, there is so much. Like, when the work was like, when you had a harvest, the work was like, what are you going to do with this? It's like the same here. Like, I mean, here the land is so beautiful. Like, you get so many lemons and squash, and people is like, what do I do with it? So it's like so beautiful that those are the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we still have that here. We just gotta take it as a very important job, because waste was not something that was acceptable. It's like, what do you do? Like, do you sell it? You bring it here? Do you? It's that's the hustle. Yeah.
So let me ask you two a question. Did you set your intentions this morning? Do you do that in the morning, or how do you get through your day? This is going to be a different question too right now.
Yeah, I got reminded about that in my therapy session, actually. That don't forget, tomorrow when we meet up in group, that's what we got to do. So, yeah, mine has been like just to breathe, to remember to breathe, and to be most grateful for every little gift that I can claim in the day to just help me to move forward. It's been pretty rough.
Yeah. And it's always the little things that that we need to like really enjoy. Like you said, the abundance of oranges, right? You walk around and that's what these are the things that we don't look for, right? And these are the things that, like Karla said, like we don't even know that these are abundance that are given us, even in the urban atmosphere, right? These are the things like, we live in the city of trees and beautiful branches. Look up, right? Slow down. And that's where I find my solace too, is like, I have to tell myself to, I do wake up with my intentions. I do wake up with, I do the Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist smile of compassion when I wake up in the morning. First thing I do is smile in the morning. And thank the universe that I have 24 new hours to do whatever I need to do, but live my life with compassion, open my heart to others, even though it'll hurt, um, but and I appreciate the people that I've met along this journey, which is you two, and this is probably one of those ones of like, being too sensitive, but everybody that I know now, and I think that is very, very important as an artist to create whatever I create, but also to curate my life, right? To curate my friendships and my relationships, because in all reality, you don't need people that are going to bring you down, right? You don't need people that are going to be negative in life, even if they're family members. It's really important for you and for me to to be able to be free of that, and come to the realization that we can't help anybody if we can't even help ourselves. Once that chi is depleted, then you got to recharge, and then you can go out and do your stuff, so. But I appreciate you too, because you guys bring me some energy too, and I'm like, okay, well, Karla, it's just funny, and Piog too out there too, it's just that but I do feel like
your nourishment.
yeah, and I talk, like I said, I just reminding what Karla said about because I don't even think about that too, but I do walk around town. I'm like, oh my God, there's so many lemons here. Like, and everybody's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, well, maybe that's the symbolic sign, maybe that's the symbolism of Mother Earth telling you, like, here's some stuff, figure it out, right? Give it away, make something. So here, can you speak more about the vibrations of chocolate? And that would be for
me.
Yes.
I had a different view, because for me, you people hear like bad energy, this energy, and I don't think that food is an element, right, for vibration, as we're saying. I mean, chocolate has like 5 crystals, like the way chocolate is, like how when you make a chocolate bar and it looks shiny and it's tempered, that's because it's a blend of crystals that you had to then temper, which means you gonna heat it up so all the crystals are melt, and then you cool it so all the hard crystals are built, and then you bring it to the middle, so you want those right crystals that make chocolate melt at the human body temperature, right? So there is, if we see it from that perspective, there is that aligning that I think tempering, like when you temper steel, when you temper your own self, there is that alignment that has to do with vibration and energy. But at the same time, it's all the beautiful thing about cacao and corn that I wish we could relate to it. Is like, if you are crossing the desert and you don't have anything else, how amazing a Hershey bar will feel, right? Or like if you're starving, how will a
Cool bar.
yeah,
Cool bar.
but what I'm trying to say, like, sometimes we associate good and bad with vibrations, but the vibrations is like are connected with where you are too, like. And sometimes we see that corn and we're like, well, this is not a real corn because it's GMO. And it's like it still holds that energy, just like us. We are not the same that we used 20,000 years ago. We still hold life. So, so vibration, how can we see it more about as a relationship with the environment, where you are in the circumstance and kind of your luck, and not so much about something that is good or bad. So from my perspective, there is not like good or bad chocolate, or this has bad energy or good energy. It's like, how is my energy and how is interrelating with that?
Yeah.
And believing that you as human have the power to, grab a GMO corn and GMO cacao or whatever, and you spray up on it and bring it up to your vibrations. Like, it's our responsibility to bring it up, don't expect something to come with high vibration to you. It's like, no, it's our job.
Well, I like that Mexico is so hard fast about not introducing Monsanto into their corn system. They're fighting it all the way through. The government's fighting it, and the people are fighting it, which is good. But something like that too. Thank you. Yeah, my friend used to grow weed before it was legal, right? And they had a place they used to grow up in I think in the Trinity Mountains, right? And their thing was like, you cannot go into the field and trim the things unless you're having a good day. So the vibrations of the people going into it and talking to the plants, and because they commune with the plants, they commune with nature, right?
Yeah.
And so I'd always buy it from him. I'm like, oh, this is good stuff, because I know that it was coming from the people that were doing it actually put their souls into it, and I think that's something that we've, I mean, not that we've lost, but even when we're outside planting something, I mean, I still talk to the plant. I still talk to the, my thank you, and give my thanks to whatever beauty is about to happen in a couple of months, So, but yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Rebecca, too. And Rebecca's also a nice, awesome person. And I say awesome a lot because it's my California dialect, Chicano style. Yeah. I don't know why I say awesome a lot, but I did that in Mexico. So, so they know where I'm from. So, but yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that's great. And I think that, if you want to buy Cru Chocolate, you can go to the website, but you can also go down to Leo's to get a chocolate mocha that he has there. It's really good. And then also to, I can't pronounce the name, sorry, of the chocolate place that has your chocolate bars.
Oh, in Sacramento, Café Chocolate. Chocolate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then anywhere in Roseville, or it's going to be the...
Yeah, here in Roseville will be here.
Yeah, but you also but you also sell chocolate to breweries and also to a lot of people in the Bay Area too, right?
Yeah, we work a lot with coffee shops, so a lot of our chocolate goes to making mochas with brewers, and they make beers. So we work a lot with other industries. And
oh, look who's here, Mrs. Mrs. Tequila. So Rebecca has a show coming up too, and she is the founder of Tequila and Heels. Awesome person too. Oh, look at that! See, people, this is the love. It's time for the love fest.
Oh, it's beautiful community.
Yeah. So let me see. Look, I mean, I am probably not going to sleep tonight because I have a shitload of cacao beans. Let me show you real quick. See, and you break these open, and then what do we have inside here? And this was supposed to be given out for me to try, but I took them all. So, but if I crunch it, I have, what's this right here?
That's the bean. That's the leaf.
Yeah. And these are so freaking good. I think that once I mean, this can sound stupid, but your palate adjusts, knows what it is. You're like, okay, I'm not going to have it anymore, like other chocolate anymore. So,
that's the original to-go food. Fast. You like people will carry those across,
I have chocolate with mushrooms in it too. So I have turmeric too. I have chocolate drink, which is inside here with my heart from Oaxaca. All right, my artist friend. And I have wine. So I'm good. And I have especially Cuervo came to me this week in the mail. But like I said, I appreciate you too, and I appreciate everybody. Look at it. See, everybody, look. Cru Chocolate is the best chocolate. True or false?
Yeah, thank you, Ray.
Ruben is rocking regalia. That's what Ruben wears in this performance art that they do in these platicas. I think my dear Jorge Poet is questioning. Oh no, maybe it wasn't Jorge. Who was? No. Somebody was asking the why, the feathers. I'm like, it's regalia. They're dressed as a walking altar, sharing from their corazon.
That's right. Crow feathers. Crow. Yeah. Love the energy that you're getting. Yeah. See, and that's the thing. It's like it is vibrations and hi, that's Rebecca, because yes, I am wearing feathers. The why is always the question. So that is the philosophical round and round of life.
To celebrate our moment and our intention of being present.
That's right. So there you go. See, we go back using cacao's currency as it once was used.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be beautiful if money was like a vegetable that if you don't use it, you gotta keep it circulating. If you don't use it, it goes bad. We need a lot about that, DiMaggio. No more money.
Me encanta, Karla, me encanta.
That's right.
But you know one thing, like when cacao was used as money, it's not a natural thing. That was because of the Aztecs requesting tax from the Mayan and many Central American people to maintain the empire. So it's important to know that this whole empire thing that we see, where one country takes over another one, is
Yeah.
not, it's not just a Western creation. It existed before. And how do we move through that, right? How do we know that it is within the human nature? So that was when cacao was currency. But and
that's a perfect segue to my my indigenous roots and my so we fought the Aztecs. We never got defeated by the Aztecs, and here we are right here, the Zapotecos, and this is the tribes that never got defeated, and they're the Chichimeca in the central part of Mexico. So thank you for bringing that up. I didn't want to bring it up. So
you know that the Mayo too, that Nicaraguans were part of the Nicaos. That
these are stories that we need to tell. You know, these are unknown stories, even within my community. When I went to Mexico I became an artist, trying to find my blood in Mexico, and that's how I became a photographer too. Just taking so many pictures for my family, don't have to go back there. But the unwillingness to be categorized as native was pretty mind-blowing to me, to see, because that's just the way it is, and that's what we have to deal with too. But especially coming from that part of the Zacatecas too. I mean, here's where I'm finding the beauty of everything, the romanticism, and I go there, and there's like ruins like maybe 4 miles, 5 miles from the town, and no one's ever been there in my family. It was pretty trippy. So so in looking for my my roots and it took a long time through YouTube searches and kind of figuring it out too. But yeah, anyways, I think there's a lot of stories that we need to tell, that comes from within us and our own seeds, that will come in the future wise, right? So
yeah.
Anyways, that's my spiel. I'm eating chocolate, so I just gotta keep going. So.
No, and look beyond the categorizations too, because what we know, like Aztecs, Mayan, Toltecs, this and that, those names, those are the groups that their stories were greeting. Within that, like, there is hundreds and thousands of groups of people that had their own identity. And just because we don't speak a certain language or don't look a certain way or dress a certain way doesn't mean that we can't claim being native to that, because it is, again, the relationship to that territory, and to that. So I think the categorization is a part of to take away your identity as well, that we had to.
So how do you pronounce that? Do you know?
Purepecha.
Yeah, never lost you either, right? And are they from Morelos or Michoacan? Maybe, Jose? Can you answer that question? Yeah. But when I want Ribbon's having, especially if it's mezcal. Well, we're going to have a mezcal tasting, mezcal chocolate, and a secret show. So it's coming up too. So yeah, Michoacan. Yeah, that's another one too. It's a beautiful stories that within all of the spectrum of from here everywhere, right down to the coast, or I'm sorry, to the end of knowing our own roots too. And that's where going from learning everything about each other. I am going to have a show that has going to do with every part of my DNA. So, but in order to do that, I have to be, I want to say, at peace with every part of my DNA. The conqueror, the conquest, right? The colonizer, the colonized, that is within all of us in a sense too.
The decolonizer.
Right. And, I have Cyprus in my family. I'm Jewish, there's like all this stuff that I have to like really, I think that becomes, makes me whole if I'm able to really bring about all of myself together.
I think something like the heart of intersections, the heart of my intersections is feeling kind of good for that. We'll work on that title.
See, Michoacan is in the house. Oh, which is awesome because the winemaker here that I made this wine is from Michoacan too. Awesome guy. So yeah, so we have,
You
it's
should
it's a
put
good.
that line up close again for those people that came in late.
Okay, here it is right here.
Yes,
Sorry.
Ruben's arte on a label.
That's right. Only manifesting
El
beautiful,
espíritu de
beautiful
la
moments in
tierra.
life. Right?
El espíritu del trabajador, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
So, I would like to thank everybody for coming here for Cali Cocktail Hour, and I appreciate you, Yaya. Appreciate Karla for really, really help. I mean, I mean, seriously, I am overwhelmed by the last art show that we did because, like I said, I invited Karla just as a friend. I invited Liz just as a friend, and this whole Son Jarocho group, just as friends, right? Not as like, but this is, and Pia too, and and Leo, everybody. Oh, you, Leo, everybody, But these three elements of the food, of the chocolate, of the music too, they just said to me like, what do you need me to do? And I was like, I don't like to ask for help. So I'm like, I can't pay you. Like, I don't care about that. Right. And which is it's a beautiful feeling, and I was with Karla, Liz, and Yada at the end, and like, we'll support you, Ruben, no matter what you do, we'll do this. And I don't understand people understand how a beautiful thing that is, and I'm not saying you, I'm just saying that the show would happen, because you always, what I mean, but the fact that we're all willing to help each other out, people talk about this, a creative economy and, blah, 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 it's always transactionary. Everything's transitionary, you get the transaction, right? You go somewhere like, hi, what can I do for you? Right. But we're more like, what can we do for us? Like, how can we help each other? Right. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things that this last show was awesome. And also the Mexican conflict show. You guys stepped up there too. It's like crazy too. And I think, anyways, so before I go on, I just want to say I love you guys before that. So let's go to the next one. My dad is from Michoacan. My mom is Dutch. Yeah, see? Right? Yeah, see? And I mean, I don't know if you guys have done your DNA too. But it is interesting to me, just the fact that I feel like I need to be at peace with everybody. Maybe that's a little bit of my Buddhist nature. That I have to be at peace with every part of my DNA to and eventually be it the suffering part, not over with, but at least in that part, because that's information from every bit of your life and people that have been through, so anyways.
So what part of Europe are you?
Well, it says Iberian coast,
Yeah.
right? Which is but my name is Revelis too, which is a namesake in Portugal. It's a namesake name, so I may be Spanish, I may be Portuguese, right? So but the best part about everything, I've always felt closer to my indigenous roots. That's why when Latinx came, I'm like, nope, I don't want to be, I want to be indigenous X if there's anything, right? But I've always felt that more connection to, everybody has, I don't blame anybody what they identify with because that's just them. But for me, that's what happened. And so when I got my DNA back, I'm like, yes, 56% indigenous, I was like, I knew it. Right. So, but yeah, so, oh yes, but yeah. Anyways, she'll be back in a second. But what about you? Have you ever done that too?
Yeah, mostly indigenous, Jewish, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, I'm Jewish too. So.
But yeah, the Jewish histories in Latin America, a lot of people were running away from the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
World War II. So yeah.
So anybody out there done their DNA and have some surprises, too, out there too. One of my biggest surprises was from Cyprus, the island of Cyprus. So that was pretty interesting. I'm like, I want to know why. I want to know where that came from. So, but yeah, I'd like to thank you for coming out and and everybody out there for Cali Cocktail. We're going to do this every other 2 weeks. So until I get it all up and going and back to production wise. So yeah, did you ever done your DNA too?
My papa did. I haven't done mine on my own. I know that I think he was 85% Mesoamerican on his report back. I don't know what the other blends
Yeah.
were. I'm sure Africa. I don't know which parts of Europe, but probably there's also Portugal in there. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The name has a connection there, Porras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's also known well in Peru. So the Europeans that were in the Andes, I think.
See, look, this is also one of the biggest surprise I had was my sister that I didn't know.
Mm.
Yeah. And yeah, that's people do find that there's a lot of that too. A lot of people finding that they had half sisters or half brothers that they didn't know either.
Mhm.
Yeah. How did you handle that surprise? Or did you meet them or did you? Yeah, I would love to know about that too. Yeah. 50% Western Iberian, 40% American, most of it Mesoamerican. See?
Mhm.
But I thought you were your family's from Zacatecas too. So, yeah. Another awesome person too, by the way. I love his people. Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting to see that too, because like I said, how this we'll go back to like how do you compartmentalize that too? I mean, I know I had okay, I had two sisters 6 months apart from me. So think about that. Right?
Somebody was having fun.
Yeah, right. So I see that part, but yeah, she's from Zacatecas, see, from our land, our area. But yeah, so but at least I knew. But to find out when you're doing your DNA, and so I was like, oh, I have a sister. Because there's a lot of people that that I know that has happened to them too. So yeah, especially being yeah. Anyways, but yeah. So oh, sorry. But we'll be back here not this next week, maybe next week, it depends. But the week after too for another oh, hold on a sec. See, she was in a much better life than I did. Yeah. And that's another one too, like I said, because I will be honest with myself. I had a shitty childhood, right? And I don't wish upon anybody, but also understand that I wouldn't be who I was if this happened to me, and we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but also to having, knowing that someone had a better situation than you, but still loving them too, which I think is an awesome thing too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we hold your energy for that and give it back to you. So, oh, hold on. Sorry. Happy Valentine get together at my, see in Roseville. We'll be honored if you would feel share great energy.
Yeah.
When is that?
When is Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not Saturday, because Saturday's a whole bunch of stuff going on. So
when is it, DiMaggio?
DiMaggio, what day? What day is that? And will you be singing? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
That's right. Because I need to hear that again.
Ruben, I think you have a traveling circus with all of us.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Just gotta take the Ruben show.
That's what I'm saying. I'm taking it big time.
Yeah,
that's right. We'll sing, Mescal. We'll bring the spirituality. So looking forward to our next session. Yeah, see, this is a session. But let me play something real quick because I had this really interesting conversation with someone about leaving my job. Have you ever heard the dark side of the soul, right? Which when you leave something that you were, right, and then that you've identified yourself as this, and then you transition into another part of your side of your soul, which is like dark side, which is like the dark night of the soul, right? And for me, I explained to someone that was for me from working, and to becoming an artist. Now I got to figure the other part out, which is awesome, but also it's a very interesting part because it is kind of dark. Like you're dark, and dark as dark's not bad. it's more like you're trying to figure things out. Who are you? What have you become? What's happening? And it's almost like a seismic shift in your body, right? And it is a little bit scary sometimes. Like I have to admit, this artist journey has been. Sometimes I don't sleep at night, right? I'm like, what am I going to do tomorrow? And then all of a sudden I manifest an art sale, right? Someone buys a piece of art or someone does this, it's been very interesting, but I do want to play something that has helped me in that way, so people ask me a question. So I'm going to play this and then we'll come back in a second. But I'm going to add to the stream real quick and we'll play it real quick, but it's only 2 minutes.
Beings.
Oh.
We're not just flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
If you put anything under a microscope, an intense microscope, you can ultimately see that everything is vibration. And as the scientists are not telling us, there's information there, but it's not solid. It's always moving. So we're vibrational beings. So as you were just saying, when we lift our vibration to what we want to experience, it happens first on a vibratory level, and then it shows up and manifests in our life. So people who are holding on to rancor, animosity, they're slowing down their vibration.
Okay, just had an aha there. You're actually, when you recognize your vibrational frequency, you're drawing into yourself all the time, literally, the vibration that is most like what you're putting out.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
You cannot, another way of saying is you cannot have what you're not willing to become vibrationally.
Ah.
If you do get it, you'll lose it.
Ah.
You see, this is why people, they'll win the lottery and they lose everything,
Yeah.
or they'll finally get the person they think they want to be with.
Absolutely.
They can't keep the relationship, or they'll get a modicum of success but can't hold on to it because inside they weren't vibrationally aligned. They really hadn't become it. So you can temporarily manipulate and get things, but to have it completely, you have to lift your vibration and become that in vibration.
Oh, that's so good. You need to repeat it. That is so good. Isn't that look, hallelujah, hallelujah. That is so good.
You're not really attracting things to you. You're really radiating.
Ah,
it's really a radiation.
I could cry right now. I felt that so strongly. Yeah. That's going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, you're radiating it from within out. It's like if I become the vibrational frequency of love, harmony, peace, and I'm radiating that.
That's the key.
So,
beautiful.
Kind of what I've been talking about. I know that you see a lot of things on Facebook. I'm radiating this out, right? And
takes me back.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where I sit there and I set my intention, but I also set my I radiate out. In my artwork, I do the same thing. It's all about energy and vibrations, and that in colors, right? So colors are very healing as far as like chakra colors and stuff like that too. But I thought it was interesting because a long time ago I was in the rock band and we were ready to get signed. I told someone, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I don't think I'd be alive, honestly, because there was so many like
so fast
drugs and like everything. I mean, and people were just giving us stuff and all this stuff, but I don't think my soul was ready for that. So we crashed the band, right? Now I feel like I'm ready for it. So whatever happens now, I'm ready to, I'm like, it took me a while to, to get over a lot of stuff. When you don't have guidance, especially for males, we don't have male guidance, we're lost, because we look at things the way they're like. I looked at my father the way things were supposed to be, and they weren't supposed to be like that. But you learn because you think that's the way, right? So now I've learned my way, so to speak, and now I really do believe that we vibrate out what we get back, right? So instead of like trying to like I need this, rather than we put out what we need, right? And we are good people to other people, and that's why I think, like I said, when Karla said, what do you need from me? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I mean, at the show, I'm like, fine. I surrendered. I really did. I'm like, I used like the Buddhist term of
Grapes,
surrender.
orange, chocolate.
Yeah,
I mean, like the
right.
treasure chest was there in brass. No less.
So
I think it was in full.
So you know what I mean. So and Maria said, "Thank you, powerful for sharing." Ayita, I love seeing you. So look at that, say.
I love you, Maria
Oh,
Cristina.
look who's here too. Javier. Also, see, that's what I'm saying. This is the beautiful part about the show.
I think you took me back somewhere, Ruben, when we had my sister friend and I were entrusted with being hostess with the mostest for a beautiful organization / company, and you said circus, right, or earlier, about of a group from Mexico, from DF, and they actually had, people from DF come from all different parts of Mexico,
Yeah.
right? It's like New York. Entonces, the group was Teatro Mexico, and they brought a beautiful production called La Llorona to us, and it was staged at Fort Sutter Space, and that was taken over by these teatristas. And one of our dear hearts, Antonio, really loves saying, you really have to put out the love. When he talked about the intention of the day, he talked really about always having love in your heart and always emitting that, so that, in its best way, it could show up for you too as well, to propel that. And he liked to call it soul vibrations. So constantly, and I think they got it from like listening to wonderful reggae, of course, and songs.
Well, there you go.
Selassie. And entonces you think of soul vibrations, each day you think of love each day, and putting that out there as your first intention, and everything else hopefully will fall into place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Javier just had a show at the culture, Mex culture in San Francisco. I wish I would have came.
Yes,
and you need to come to Sacramento too, because you have some beautiful work too.
Cuántos corazones here.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, so that we can read this too.
Mm-hmm.
And also the colors that we see are certain. Yeah, they are certain wavelengths, and it's also in physics, right? And if you look at quantum physics too, it's all about the energy wavelengths and all this stuff. And that's why sometimes it's hard when I'd say people like, I do identify as Chicano, but let's go deeper, I identify as a vibrational being. So or in the Buddhist term, of like, we are independent from all of us, not just like a group of people, because like Karla said, we don't even say hi to the people that are here. We don't even say hi to anybody. That's the whole point too, right?
And I think you bring up so much in us, and insisting that we remain human, but like you were saying, first we are spiritual beings, experiencing this like human experience, because this is the suit that we're currently in.
Yeah.
First and foremost, we're spiritual beings, right? We're light. And made up of all the elements, like Karla was mentioning earlier, that's in the chocolate. And
Exactly. Right.
And it's got that temperament that you talked about, Karla, too. I love how you brought that to light.
Yeah, I feel like, when at least for me, right, in my experience, it's like I had to have a medium. Mm-hmm. Like if my hands are not working on something, it is really hard for just sit and hope your soul to go to a certain level. It's like, and that's where art and music and dance, even working out, or cooking comes. It's like you need that medium that you can transform. Like somebody was saying, like the ugly feelings or thoughts that slow you down, that how are you gonna transform it? Because we can't think them away. We had to work.
Cut it off. Yeah. Javier has an exhibit right now at the Mission Cultural Center for Arts and Mission Cultural Center, and it's up till the 15th. He's mentioning it here, and so please go see that. They're honoring the dichos de su papá and a lot of love. There's corazones available, made from their hand and heart, with ceramic goodness, all along the wall, all different sizes and all different prices, very flexible. And another thing that's also happening in San Francisco with our relatives here in Sacramento, Catherine Canton and Mariana Moscoso also are opening an exhibit at the Root Division space. So it's a small opening for friends and family on Friday and a public opening on Saturday. This is free. So that's all centering around ritual and myth making with indigenous artists from all over. And we have some folks in there, Javier and Snowflake are there, and so many others. So let's remember to connect our Bay Area love and our Sacramento Foundation here. Yeah.
Yeah, we're connected everywhere too. What I love about this space is that I was telling Karla, the longer that the more that we go on, the more that the tentacles of the whatever the other vibrations, and this is the whole point. People we battle of like technology versus humans, but what if we were able to bind the two like we're doing now? We are binding the metaverse or the meta, right? And the spiritual right now, right? And this is what it's about too. So I'm not, anyway, so let's go back. See, colors, we see our energy in certain wavelengths. It's true. And that is, and thank you. I took a lot of this video, ugly feelings of thought that slow down your vibrations. That is true. I used to be a fatalist. Like I used to wake up and I'd get a coin and I'd flip heads. It's going to be a good day. Bad. It's going to be a bad day. Right. Or, when I flip it, I'm like, shit, but I've learned in my life that you can change the day around. That's right. And I don't know if you notice, but once you start thinking about what you're putting out, right, you'll go to say, hey, how you doing? I'll ask them like, how's your day going? Well, it's going good, but me, it's, it's going to change. I'm like, well, don't say that. That's just say it's going to be a good day. Right. Because when people tell me now, and I know I probably sound annoying to them, and they're like, so how you doing? I'm like, well, it's good. It's going to be, but it's going to get better, right. And because I'm putting that out there too, not only for me, but for them too, because it sounds hokey sometimes, too. And, oh, sorry, we had to get back on the comments too. So, hello, Teresa, how you doing?
Teresa.
Always love in your heart, see? Love your energy. Thank you for this space. You're welcome. And this is a great, because this is a space, right? This is the space to get together and talk about things and be vulnerable and be accepted for your vulnerability, because that's the best part, too. So, yeah, see? And I met Javier here in Sacramento, which is, well, that's another story. But then I saw him in San Francisco. I'm like, oh my God, do I know you from somewhere? So
we're in a show
shape shifting, and all that, all that wonderful stuff. Yeah, vibration first means I like that. I'm stealing it.
How long after you met in Sacramento were you in the show together? And
well, I saw him in San Francisco probably about a month or two, but it was really, really quick. That's the funny part. It's not from the head, it comes from the heart. There you go. See, gracias, and I just got this from Magic. I love it. See, and that's the whole thing that we are. Yeah. So DiMaggio with a blank. I like it. Gratitude, of course, and gratitude's another one. I wake up sometimes with this journey, like scared, afraid. Where's my next money going to come from? Where's my finance? We all go through that, but we all have different stresses, and it's life, right? But I've learned that when that happens, I put my hand on my partner, Melissa, and I'm grateful, right? I'm grateful I have a pillow under my head. I'm grateful that I'm sleeping in a bed, and those are the little gratitudes that that really life is about, right? I'm grateful that I'm having chocolate. I find chocolate too, but with the spiritual twist to it too, and these are the things, like I said, gratitude is a big one, because that can in itself change your so anyways, someone said adios, and then when you are on. So, but my gratitude for tonight is for you two, for being here in this space. So, do you have one, Karla?
Being you, Ruben. No, seriously, I'm very thankful for your friendship and for the communities that you had open. And you're such a beautiful networking. You call for events. I'm learning a lot about you, about caring and nourishing and tending.
Yes.
That's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, my it's funny because everyone's like, "Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have?" I'm like, she's a different. No, she's she supports me in a different way, like a way that no one else has. Right? It's not like it's a very just totally different. And I can go out and do because I do my thing. I do think, and she'll like, Ruben, you walk out like I'll walk out like a dog that just can't walk anymore. I'm like, I gotta go to the show. I have to support them. They supported me, and even though I walk in like, hi, but you have to, right? You got to support the people that support you. And this weekend I have a dilemma of people that support me. They're having all these shows, and but then I have also dilemma of a friend who asked me to go to the Kings game, right? And I'm like, should I go support them? But you also like have to make space for some of the oldest friends that too, right?
And you have to refill. I forgot that. You have to refill. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to have that negative space. My negative space is listen to NBA news. Right? Because sometimes I'll sit there and listen to binary beats at nighttime. I'll listen to Buddha's Thich Nhat Hanh's books or the Tao Te Ching, because I try to center myself. But sometimes you have to have that trashy TV, right? Because you can't just live off spirituality your whole life. You have to have some sort of like some junk food sometimes, right? For your brain too. So, sorry, we got here. It can always be the worst. So grateful. Yeah. And that's something too. Grateful for y'all. See?
Gracias.
And I don't know if you ever heard, I want to say DiMaggio, right? Karla, is that right? DiMaggio, yeah. His singing voice, beautiful voice. Yeah. So, and Teresa's grateful for her partners, and and we have, we try to help each other out, and that's a good thing. So, yes. So that's what I got for you, Karla.
Yeah.
You're next.
I don't know. Like
yeah. Anyway, so.
But one thing, Jaya, I was remembering the first time I met your parents.
Oh.
What? What was that?
Eddie Herrera introduced them to me.
Mm-hmm.
The chocolate, and they were just so gracious, and the two of them sitting together, and so beautiful.
Did you meet them at Soul Collective or at a museum or in your calle?
In a powwow.
In a powwow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Aquí están presentes for the novela right now, but they were calling me, and so I think it's time to do my sobada on Mamacita right now. So,
Well, I'd like to thank you, Yaya, for joining us too.
Thank you all. It's time.
I've kept Karla an hour over what I told her too. So, no, it's okay. But there are people on there, and when I told you too, conversation is good. You three are awesome. I want to be when I grow up. Okay. And we'd like to thank you for coming out. You two don't leave quite yet. But everybody else, we will be here with Cali Cocktail Hour. I guess it's powered by Chicano Power, I guess, right? And Indigenous Roots.
Indigena.
Yeah. So, that's another conversation too, right? All of our roots and all of our footprints that we had, and and our ancestors that have come before us, the artists that come before us, the people that come before us who made this pathway easier for us too. We acknowledge you, and acknowledge the lands that we're on too, because too, which I'm starting to
Miwok, Maidu, relatives,
and I'm starting to be more mindful of that too, because you said it. Even the Mexican consulate, or the general consulate, said that too when she does her presentations. Very mindful of acknowledging the lands that we're on. There's no guilt. This is where we're at. These are the lands of of that too. So, but thank you, everybody. Any last words, Karla, about where to get your chocolate or anything you're doing next coming up?
We had several events, but now just thank you so much for the space, and I hope everybody can find chocolate, find the joy of food and joy of sharing and the joy of what chocolate brings to your life. And it just remembers it's like it took thousands of people and thousands of years and millions of decisions, so it's a fruit of luck. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so much.
Just grateful for these intersections and this like interwoven trenza of positive energia, and the people who've come to join us, who've come in and out to share their love and appreciation and affirmations that that they hear us, that they feel us, that they feel connected. I think it's so sweet, and can't wait to come back. And great to be with you again, Carla.
Amazing.
Always awesome to weave with you, Cuervo.
Mhm.
That's right. Oh, hold on. Let me get my there you go. My new cane. When I walk around.
I'm a little jealous.
And I got all this chocolate. So, and I would like to thank everybody out there and support your local economy. Support the makers and the creatives out there doing. They're hustling.
Get some Cru.
Yeah, and get some Cru, get some chocolate, get some art, and and the thing too is like, by supporting, it doesn't mean that you have to buy it all the time, because I have friends that bought a lot of my artwork. Just share it, because now is a new medium. Now it's a new way of doing things, right? We share it to one friend. Most of the sales I do are on like social media, so it's great just to like, hey, just put it on your page, but help everybody out too. Just like we could help you too. So you two do not leave. I'm going to play the ending of a song, which is a part of, I did a walking meditation song written by my friends. Vibrations are beautiful. And thank you for coming to Cali Cocktail Hour. We will be here. Depends. Maybe next week, but for 2 weeks for sure. Every 2 weeks. But I think I'm getting the hold of it again. I'm getting back to the use of it and the creation of it too. So we are publicly funded by me. So no funds, so I'm doing this by myself from my heart and my love. So of the community.
QR code.
Oh, no,
for tips.
No. Tips are the tips are the vibrations that people bring in. This is actually rejuvenating me as I go along, as we're it is like you said, we radiate out what we want to come back rather than thinking we want, right? We keep wanting. No, it's really what we're going to put out ourselves. So, and that's what I do believe. So, we'll tell stories about that too. So we'll be back. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
If you're only here to hear one thing, is that we do love you.
We love you.
And you are not alone. And you could always message me. And I will really want to know what you're doing and how you're feeling. So, all right. So you two stay on and we'll say our goodbyes, everybody. Thank you very much. Cali Cocktail Hour out. We'll see you soon.
I've seen my dad, and I'm alive to kill the time. What triggers the idea of la da da da? da da da. Well, I've lived this before. Why must we experience it?